It's on. All right, everybody. We have 113 RSVPs and 75 chairs. So grab your chair. Test, test. All right, everybody. Go ahead and make your way. Come on. Chain reaction. I see you. Come on. Get over here. All right. All right. Awesome. Welcome in.
Yeah, that should lock it. I'm going to
Perfect.
turn you down right now, but I just wanted to make sure.
Sounds good.
I'll be right back.
Thank you.
I sent Chris out there to get people in here. All right. Thank you all for being here. If you can go ahead and get cozy with your neighbor, we have quite a few RSVPs tonight. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. This is the biggest meetup we've had in a while. I kind of smell a bull market. It's it's definitely feeling like a bull market. We do have some fun giveaways. I am giving away 5 Bit Refill t-shirts. So Bit Refill is one of our awesome sponsors. They allow you to live on crypto. So you can use your crypto to buy gift cards, and I'm pretty sure they have some ways for you to actually, pay your utility bills and stuff too. So 5-bit refill t-shirts. We're also giving away $5 in Solana to anyone who downloads Edge tonight and makes a new account. And Edge is also one of our sponsors, so would you look at that? Our last sponsor for the evening is Coinstructive. They are your crypto PI, and Chris right here is the founder of Coinstructive. So if you know anybody or you yourself has experienced any sort of crypto fraud, he's your guy. He'll help you. He's chatting with the legislation people. So yeah, he's your guy. Huge thanks to our sponsors for pizza, drinks, this wonderful place. So yeah. A couple housekeeping. Bathrooms are down the hall all the way to the left. So there's your bathrooms. We do have Wi-Fi. The password is I like big bits. All lowercase. There is a dog that's running around. He will eat your pizza. It's not on his diet, though. So let's try and keep the plates off the ground. We don't want Colin to be eating the pizza. We are also live on YouTube. Hello, YouTube people. So the thing with that is they can only hear what we say into the microphones. So if we do a Q&A later, just go ahead and wait for one of us to get to you with a microphone. If we don't, speakers, go ahead and just repeat the question so the YouTube people can hear. Let's see. Oh, last thing, our next meetup is on Thursday. It's a technical meetup, and so it's going to be, it's brought to you by DevX, which is organized by one of the senior developers at Edge. So that's going to be Thursday, same place, same time. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Paul. If you could do a quick intro to Edge, tell everybody what we do, and then intro our speakers, that would be awesome. Other than that, eat, drink, and be merry.
Maybe we can do a quick mic check here, make sure everything's loud and clear.
Can we get some water?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Some liquid death.
I know, sorry, I didn't bring enough of the cans.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
time.
Remember, always bring enough for the class.
No.
I am a big fan, actually.
Sorry, I don't drink beer. I know.
I love the commercials.
Yeah, a little loud.
They're
I know.
insanely good.
I don't know. I don't watch ads.
You got to watch these. These you have to watch. Okay, I think we're pretty loud and clear. So thanks everybody for coming out today. We've got a great panel talking about kind of the macroeconomic conditions, and of course we're going to fold crypto into this. All right, this is a Bitcoin Open Blockchain meetup. Quick intros. I'm Paul Pui, CEO and co-founder of Edge. This is our home. We are a self-custody app to buy, sell, and trade Bitcoin. So Bitcoin and many different other cryptocurrencies. As we had mentioned, we're giving away a little bit of Solana for new users. That's one of the different assets available on our app. You can also earn and stake in the application. Would like to kind of go down the line and show our speakers today. I'm really happy to have this panel of investors that range the gamut in their insights of investing, both at the VC level, at the crypto level, and just general market condition insights. We've got Vinny, Priscilla, and Neil here. I'd love for them to give maybe a quick 1-minute intro on what they're maybe currently doing in the investment landscape. I know to a great degree, Vinny's a founder, right? That's kind of where your heart is a founder. But you also have insanely good investment insights. So maybe you can kind of give a quick one minute on where you are today with respect to your contribution to the investment landscape.
Cool. Thanks, Paul. Right now I'm running a company called Rumi.ai, RUMI.ai. It's a video conferencing platform, kind of like a Zoom killer, hopefully. But we use AI to make it a better experience, better user experience. The UX is great. We have a bot that listens to your conversations and creates to-do lists, items, tasks, insights. You can push it into Slack. You can put it onto your Asana. You can integrate with third-party systems. And we're new and growing, and so that's my day-to-day. It's not crypto-related anymore. And the reason for that is I spent a decade in crypto, and I just got tired of crypto. And I can speak about why, but generally I come from consumer product background. I built companies, sold companies in tech and computer products and consumer products. And I just wanted to go back to my roots of building stuff that people use at scale. And I always felt that crypto just hasn't gotten to scale yet. So, but I am an investor in crypto, and I've been doing it for a long time. And happy to share some learnings.
Cool. Priscilla?
I'm Priscilla Guevara. I work for a firm called Science. We're a multi-stage venture fund based in Santa Monica. I've been around since 2011. I started my career actually structuring derivatives in New York, so spent about 20 years there in a number of different capacities. And prior to where I'm now, I was at Anheuser-Busch, and I covered their sustainable platform. I also covered their tech platform as well, anything that would help their core business. Here at Science, we started our core strategy as early stage venture, meaning we invest very early stage at the studio formation level, building companies, scaling them, and then driving them to exit. We're most notably known for consumer, so consumer being Dollar Shave Club, which we sold to Unilever, $1 billion cash transaction, LA's first $1 billion consumer transaction. Liquid Death is one of our biggest ones that we started in our offices, if you guys have heard of them. So that's our big one, claim to fame. We are now going on to Fund 4, which is going to launch. We also do have a blockchain practice as well. Back in 2017, we had the world's second tokenized security. And to date, out of our venture fund, we made a recent asset investment into a company called RSRV in partnership with T0, investing into a hospitality asset. Our first asset that we purchased was the St. Regis Aspen, and I can talk a little bit more about that opportunity.
Cool. My name is Neil Bloom. Great to be here with you all, especially with friends here on stage as well, and friends in the audience. I have a founder background as well, serial founder in almost entirely software, though have an even longer hardware background before that as well, and now running Interlock Capital, which is an investment fund and syndicate and community. And we officially just closed Fund 1 a few weeks ago, which feels great. So this year is about investing even more. And we are really a group of exited founders who have come together and pooling our capital, but even more importantly, our brain power to invest only in areas where we have subject matter expertise so we can do diligence, but really help the founder after we cut the check so much more than our check would ever go. So we're investing at pre-seed, seed, and Series A. Probably favor more towards earlier. We want to, and based on just being in the community for so long, we want to invest, we're happy to be first check into certain companies or second check at seed.
Cool, thanks everyone. So I wanted to bring this panel together based on its title because I felt like we were in a very, very weird time with a lot of market conditions that, in my understanding, haven't really come together in the past. And I'd love to get a pulse from you guys and ladies as to whether or not there's that sense. Is this something unique? The market of the main metrics that I'm seeing are unemployment, interest rate, as well as inflation. Right? Have we seen that come together before? Do you feel like this is something unique, and has it changed your investment strategy, especially from the viewpoint of, like, all of you have some investments in the VC realm as opposed to just crypto or just like stocks and bonds. But has that changed your investment strategy with what your key primary investments are, these current economic conditions? Anyone who wants to kick it off.
Yeah, I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I have 0 public stocks in my portfolio, other than stuff that I invested in at a fund level, and then it went public somehow, and then I keep it, but like a pet rock.
Putting into even a fund, like has it changed your interest in putting things into a fund, or with crypto? Because clearly I know you have crypto. Yeah. I'll dox you there because I think you've done it already beforehand. But, but has it changed that thesis?
I'm just saying, like, I think this is the weirdest market I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like this. It's like.
What are the pieces that you find are weird that are unique? I've stated what I thought are, but I'm curious to get your opinions as to what are the different metrics that you haven't seen come together the way they have in this market.
Record low unemployment, highest interest rates in 20 years, and mortgage rates in over 20 years, I think. We're looking at contractionary monetary policies for the Fed, but stimulatory monetary policies for the banking sector at the same time through the facility after First Republic Bank and SVB collapsed. And that probably is said not to be renewed, but it probably will be renewed. The Fed balance sheet's $8.7 trillion right now, and we have economic growth, and we have, but apparently we have prosperity as well, which everyone's, like, it's. I saw a chart there. It's kind of funny. Like, if there's a Democratic president, Republican people think the economy is in shit, and when there's a Republican president, Democratic people, and like over like maybe decades, right? So everyone's perception is always warped by the flavor of who they voted for. So I just haven't seen, and I've lived in South Africa for half my life, and the other half is pretty much in the US, and I've never seen such a weird economy. It's like, it's crazy. And then you got inflation, which is, it's
Not one I've seen in my lifetime, at least, or at least was conscious of this inflation rate.
No, I grew up with high inflation. South Africa is like,
South Africa,
yeah,
correct,
like
yeah.
10, 11%. But we had this huge spike, then we had this drop. And then we've got, it just, I mean, I don't want to spend too much, like, I'd hate to go into the details because it'll be a painful, soliloquy on it, but this is a weird economy right now.
So how is it affecting your decision making? Well, down the line. Priscilla?
Yeah, I mean, I can say when I was in New York when we had the GFC, which obviously was a different time and a very tumultuous time. I think for us, when we think about investing, it's always about where's culture moving, where are consumers moving, where are we spending our time, money, and energy. And I think, to Vinny's point, it's like there's so many macroeconomic events that are shifting, right? The inflation rates. I think the homelessness is certainly a big factor and has invested or has taken over a lot of our investing mindset. So we do have a company, for example, that's called Mindset Care that works directly with utilizing AI, but to receive Social Security benefits on a short-term basis. So what that means is an application process that could take about 16 days has now been shrunk to 2 hours. And why that's important, if you are trying to claim Social Security benefits for somebody who has mental health issues, that we have homelessness issues, we have recidivism, there are so many issues that it's tackling, and there's money and government out there, money that we can take advantage of that maybe people don't know. So I think for us as an investment thesis, it's where's culture moving. I think there's a big focus around how do we tackle these macroeconomic events that have ripple effects like homelessness, mental health. So we're putting out an investment into a company called Mindset Care in that space. The second is, high inflation rates have effects on mezz debt lending. So the investment that I'd mentioned in RSRV that's focused around hospitality, there were these, interesting ways we can get mezz debt. But now those mezz debt rates are so high. And
Can you explain mezz debt rates, or the product
lending.
is just generally lending?
Yeah, mezz debt lending. So for example, if you're a hospitality operator and you want to be able to finance your property, let's say it's $100 million and they can loan you about 80%, but those rates now no longer exist. So now they're trying to find creative opportunities and financial instruments to do so, where in this partnership with T0, we have an operating platform to invest that offers both equity and debt offerings, in addition to, as a consumer, we also want to receive benefits. So this RSRV platform allows you to take in VIP benefits, and I can dive into that further, but it's just how do we connect more with what we're spending our money, time, and energy on.
Got it, cool.
For me, from an investing standpoint, what's interesting is like for 2 years we've been told or feeling like a recession is happening tomorrow, and it has not come. So it feels like, right? It's like looming there, yet everything is growing to a certain extent. Like the stock market's hitting all-time highs. But in the software tech world, not necessarily. Like valuations have not come all the way back up on public stocks, which trickles all the way back down. And so therefore, from a VC perspective, we've been under this impression that valuations should be going lower, and they are, but they should be continuing to go lower, which is a great time to write checks because valuations are lower. Tough for founders who've raised previously. Good for VCs who want to get better value on their investments. So there's like a lot of polar opposites, I feel like, pulling at us in this regard. VCs, our job is to raise money from other people and then write checks to founders, right? And so it's just as hard for us to raise our funds, right now as it is for founders to raise their next round. So that part is limiting as well too. So yeah, I think there's also a lot of people who raised during the high times that we still haven't seen come back down to earth yet. And I think we thought that was going to happen last year. It still hasn't come yet either. So it's almost like pacing the recession's coming soon.
Imminent, but not quite there. It's always imminent.
Right. So I'm seeing the flat rounds come where people are like, hey, we're raising the same.
Oh, no, I'm seeing the down rounds come.
Like they're just starting.
I'm helping.
How long have you been seeing down rounds? Because I'm seeing them like
past couple of months now. I'm helping 2 companies do down rounds and wipe out everyone else. Like they have to survive. They don't have a choice.
For sure.
They don't have a choice, and the VCs are gonna hate me. But like, fuck it. Yeah.
Actually, it makes entire sense. I was surprised when you mentioned
for sure. They got to survive.
No, it's like pay to play, boys.
Yeah.
Like, you have dry powder in your fund. If you don't want to use it or you can't use it, that's the game. Like I have a VC fund as well, and we have about 30% dry powder, and it's a $50 million logistics fund. And from the inception of the fund, we always kept 30% dry powder for exactly these types of situations where there's some pay to play, and you're going to get wiped out by some new money coming in, and then you have to put up some capital to help your companies. And I think somewhere along the line, people forgot that. And I'm seeing this happen enough where LA companies they can't raise money, and they've got tens of millions on the cap table. They need maybe $5 million to keep them going, and you can basically buy the company for nothing. You get a huge return on investment, but you have to wipe out the other VCs. And historically, it's been a kind of a no-no over the past 2 decades. Especially I lived in Silicon Valley for over a decade, and to come in and wipe out the VCs, it's like bad blood, and the VCs get pissed off and whatever else. Now it's like, hey, every man for himself. Get the companies, keep the companies alive, right? If the VCs won't put up the money to save the companies, then someone else will. It's a good buying opportunity. So that's, if you ask where I'm looking to invest, it's if there's blood in the streets, that's where you make your money.
And how's the quality of those?
Really, some of it's really good. You get some really good quality. The issue really is not the quality of the company. It's how much companies have raised at too high valuations 2 years ago, and now they can't raise at a higher valuation to keep the company going, but they can cut costs and they can extend runway, but they have to do a down round. There's just no way around this, and it's happening more and more often.
This is an existing portfolio or new companies you're doing their down rounds? First investment?
Well, one is existing, and I'm looking at another one which is not in my portfolio. Okay. But one's existing one where I'm like, let's just wipe out everyone else.
No, I heard a stat.
And technically, sorry, you're not wiping out everyone else. It's like pay to play.
Right.
If everyone puts in their pro rata, the company keeps going, everything's fine. You retain your percentage. But if someone says, "Hey, I'm not putting more money in," well, sorry,
you're gonna get wiped out.
You're wiped out.
And we're talking like 50 million previous round, now raising it at 8 million.
Something along those lines.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's very close. Yeah.
I'm seeing that too.
You mentioned earlier that it's the conditions of record low unemployment, right? Was one of the intersection metrics. Although in the tech space, you had mentioned that that's where you're seeing all the down rounds. And in the tech space, I think I saw a stat that there were 160,000 layoffs. Well, it's small relatively, but 160,000 in 2022, but 260 in 2023. Like notable increase in layoffs in the tech space, and there's a whole chart that graphs this. And I think we're already on track to beat that in just the first less than a month in 2024, specifically in tech layoffs. So seemingly, like based on what you had said, Neil, it seems right on point that the tech space is kind of seeing or experiencing a bit of a different trend than the rest of the market. How is that impacting? Because I know you invest in more than just pure tech. Correct me if I'm wrong. Has that kind of shifted some of your priorities and where you're looking? Or are you still treating each tech company like, okay, give it a fair shot? Or is there some concern there might be overflooding in the market?
Oh, no.
And no demand?
No, I'm like all for everyone getting laid off, go start a company, first of all.
Yeah.
So that's prime talent for me.
Exactly.
Like I'm like, oh, you got laid off? Like you got hopefully time to go work on something new. Mm-hmm. The interesting trend I'm seeing from tech people to non-tech is kind of this silver tsunami, which is tech people saying, I want to go buy or start, really buy like an existing non-tech company. I'm seeing as much like laundromat roll-ups, and it's all roll-ups. It's all like not just buy one. It's let's go buy into a bunch of them. So a lot of LPs in our group who had tech exits are like, I want to go bring my tech expertise to a non-tech industry. And we just invested in a pool care roll-up that is putting a software layer over it, but they want to be the largest pool care brand in the country. and previously they did lawn care as a tech marketplace. So that's the non-tech piece that we're interested in, is like roll-up-esque, adding tech overlay over it.
Just to kind of bring in what's more relative to the audience, all of you come from the VC space, you have access to VC level investments. What would you say is something that someone who doesn't have access to those kind of investments can do in this type of economy? What should they be kind of looking for as opportunity?
Actually, I don't think that's universally true.
What's that?
I don't think that's universally true.
It's not universally.
No,
I mean,
no,
there
I'm
could
saying
be a
even
a
for
few.
me, right? So I'm running Rumi. We have we've raised $5 million up until mid 2022, and then the capital just dried out.
Mhm.
And I'm a successful founder. I've made a lot of money. I've sold companies, and raising capital, even at reasonable valuations, it's
hard.
I got to deal with a bunch of kids out of university, working in a VC fund for the first time in their lives, trying to convince them to give me money. I'm like, screw this, I'll do the round myself. So I'm literally funding it myself, and I'm like, well, I just don't want to take VC money, because they're actually not investing as much. I mean, Neil's probably an exception, but you're very early stage as well. Super early. But Series A's right now kind of dried up. I mean, they're not putting. They got to keep taking the meetings. You shouldn't waste your time taking meetings with VCs trying to do a Series A right now unless you have actual revenues, because the hurdle now is revenues for Series A. No revenues. They'll take the meetings so they can tell their LPs they're taking meetings.
They're doing work.
Otherwise, they'd just be sitting their asses playing golf all day. So they've got to take the meetings. So if you don't have any revenues, raising a Series A is really hard. And I think it's hard for everyone, no matter who you are.
But for someone who is not a VC level investor and not a founder looking to raise money, in the investment landscape, obviously crypto is an option. And maybe this is where we bring it in, and we heard Bitcoin in the audience. Was that June yelling Bitcoin? Kelly? Or maybe she should, I would expect Monero coming out of that girl. But where does crypto fit into the investment landscape in these current macroeconomic times? And kind of would you say, what would the why be? Why does it fit in or not fit in your opinion? And maybe even, well, I don't want to go into the which cryptos, but crypto in general. It's even target Bitcoin as at least the base level, the godfather of it all. Where does that fit in?
Into a personal portfolio?
Into a personal portfolio.
I struggle with giving personal portfolio advice to anyone.
Yeah.
If I can't see exactly what's in your portfolio, I cannot give you advice.
Okay, you're into your own personal portfolio.
No, but I'm saying for anyone. Yeah. When you listen to people up on stage, sorry, Paul. Yeah, I don't mean this in a bad way. We can sit up here as talking heads, giving you guys, buy this, buy that, buy 5% of this. Who the hell knows? When you actually have to look at your own portfolio and analyze all your assets, what are your cash flows, what are your risks, what do you need to survive? These are all important factors that go into deciding whether you can buy 5% or 50% Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, we're not going to tell you 5, 50, 190%, whatnot. I guess I'm mostly curious to say, why would this as an asset, why would Bitcoin as an asset be a fit for this market time, or why would it not be a fit for this market time? What is the insight into that you would be able to give? Reasons why it would be or not be a fit. Not how much, not relative to your other assets, which you assume people have these other investments that they may have, whether it be just a savings account or whatnot.
I'd say some of the AI tools that are coming to build product are so promising to get product to market so cheap that is what could save Bitcoin, in the fact that Bitcoin is looking still for kind of a software utility, right? And so theoretically, you could, hopefully, we'll find in the next year or two way more utility of some of these blockchain technologies, because the tools to build them have come way down. You can literally, within one sentence prompt, spin up an app right now, right? On UI Wizard, which I did last week, and literally be people would spend millions, 2 rounds just to get to that point. And now you can be doing that and getting validation. And so that's going to catch up really quickly on validation of utility for the crypto that I'm hoping to find this year, because I've been waiting for a long time.
And I think you probably resonate with something that I heard you say, Vinny, in the Town Hall podcast, which is you're waiting for its use case, right? And is that the main thing, which means in your eyes, it's not quite a fit for the current market conditions until it has a use case?
I hold a ton of crypto personally. So I always, and I've been a miner in the past as well on
I
Ethereum.
remember.
In
That's
the back
kind of
of
when
the
we
day.
met. That was what you had mentioned. Like,
Yeah,
I used to mine some. Was it in your dorm room or
2016,
something?
It was a co-working space here in San Diego that I had rigs at. So personally, I've always held and always accumulated. I have a weekly buy on 5-10 coins. You know, so I believe it should be part of a portfolio of some sorts. You just have to figure out your own indexing of whatever that means relative to everything else you're holding.
Of course, right.
I'm like way too concentrated in private tech. So for me, that's another form of public holdings to a certain regard. So, you know, I think there's a place for holding these assets, especially that have scarcity built in.
And you said you had like just a standard weekly buy of a handful of assets, and to bring the current times into play, did you shift that at all? Or like, oh, just keep it the same, regardless of the
I kept it
current
same.
market? Kept it
I feel
same.
like for
okay,
me-
so for you, it still has its fit, identical to 3 years ago to today. I'm not sure how long that buy was, but still a good fit.
I've had a Solana buy for like 18 months.
Oh, okay.
And I increased my Bitcoin buy recently from whatever the weekly was to more. But no, largely it's been the same that I'm buying weekly or monthly, whatever.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else care to share insights that may bring in the current times?
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a diversified portfolio that you're looking for, right, at times. So if you think about just in terms of macroeconomic, at the end of the day, if it is your portfolio, I kind of go back to our thesis, right? Where are you spending your money, time, and energy? And it's things that interest you and things that align with your values and your morals, and that's where you want to spend time investing. And I don't know, we see these like different portfolios that went from like the 60-40 model, which has obviously changed, and then now you have you know, other diversified portfolios going into venture and maybe crypto. I was speaking with a couple of people here, right, on this new model of the Coinbase for climate assets, and I think like that's going to be a great use case for certain investors, right? And then I think about our RSRV, it's not going to be a good use case for everybody, but maybe there are those that are super interested in niche luxury hotels, like in St. Regis Aspen, and they party and they want all these access to benefits and going to clubs, and they want you know, lower rates at hotels. So I think at the end of the day, you think about where you want to invest your time and your money, and you look at your portfolio as a whole. That's how I think about it.
Cool.
I have a question.
Sure. Can we get a mic over so we can make sure the question is heard? I'll try to repeat it as well.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, we should have one extra one
I'm
floating
pretty
around.
loud too. If you just want me
Yeah, but the
to-
mic's not going to hear you.
Okay.
2 seconds. There we go.
Hey, so this is for what was your name again on the right? Neil. So I'm just kind of curious, how do you qualify whether like a startup is a good investment? Like, what's your approach?
We got
Now, this is a
2
little
or
bit of a
3
pivot,
hours.
but you can tie in Bitcoin as well. But I'm just kind of curious from your perspective.
I'll get the easiest answer, entirely based on team. Like almost 90%, maybe even more for the stage that I'm at. So team. Relevance to the space, complementary skill sets between the co-founders, and distribution to market now. I actually put products even lower these days because tech, such a low barrier entry on the technology side. What matters even more now is distribution, access to your customer. How quickly and rapidly can you get to them and validate the idea? And that's totally based on team. So for me, it's team.
Is there another one out there? All right, let's keep it rolling. One of the major changes that kind of brought us to the current economic times is obviously COVID. And that caused a huge roller coaster in obviously asset prices. During its time, things recovered and then crashed a little bit. And most of you definitely were in the investment landscape crossing over that period of time. So presuming that you had done some investments in the 2019, 2018 timeframe crossing over. I'm curious how that may have changed your outlook of companies and assets in general. Crypto even. How has that kind of changed your outlook and investment thesis?
COVID itself?
COVID and everything that came out of it.
I
'Cause
mean-
that's brought part of the effect that we have in the current economic times.
I think what came out of it is, first we had lockdowns, we had just government overreach, we had out of control spending, We had a situation where Powell was literally spending money while the economy is on fire and going crazy, passing more bills because he's about to get re-elected as Fed chair. And the moment he's Fed chair, he was, brakes
no more,
on, right? So I mean, all that COVID exposed is like the corruption in government, right? Like, and the ability to
talking to a Bitcoin meetup.
Yeah, and the ability to debase our money, right? And that's what they've done successfully. And they use COVID is just a scapegoat. It really was.
Oh yeah.
But you know, while like, you know, you literally could have robbed a bank during the the first 2 weeks of COVID, and no one would have caught you because. Yeah.
So it shows the ability for
And they
government to
basically did.
debase the money.
Yeah.
You know, Bitcoin came out of the last kind of major economic recession, but it's never seen one. It's never lived during one. Any thesis that you have on how digital assets or cryptocurrency assets would fare if that recession finally did hit? You know, theories that seem to be all over from it's just going to follow the rest of the market to it's going to be the one thing that actually saves us. You hold on to this where everything else is crashing. I've heard theories as well where everything's going to crash, but crypto is going to be the first one coming out of the market. Where do you think it fits if we do hit another 2008? And of course, it'll never be exact 2008. It's not likely. I don't think it's going to be a mortgage crisis. But I mean, what we would hit, how would crypto and Bitcoin fare?
Paul, you know, given what you're doing at Edge and like self-custody of funds is going to be the first thing that comes to light when shit hits the fan. Because the banks are going to be basically closed. You won't be able to get money out.
So don't buy the ETF?
I don't get the... I wrote a blog post about this like 8 years ago. Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Satoshi like created Bitcoin so we could decentralize money. So let's go create an ETF.
He's rolling over in his grave.
Let's all put it in one big pot or a couple of big. It's ridiculous. I'm keeping an eye on Milei from Argentina.
I mean,
mean,
a lot of fiery things to say.
I hope he survives this.
I know.
Like
He's got to have a gun to his head.
I think he can upend the entire global financial system. And if he sort of does what he says he's going to do, get rid of the central bank, start bringing Bitcoin into, well, you know, he says he's going to move to the dollar standard first, but then Bitcoin-backed assets. I don't think the powers that be going to like this.
And for those that don't know, Milei, newly elected president of Argentina, big Bitcoiner, pro-crypto. I think he just spoke at the WEF and just chewed them out.
At Davos, it was good.
Yeah. So it's it's funny. It's one of those things where like I think we've all been expecting this recession for a while and it hasn't hit, and now we're like, oh, it's over. The moment you turn your back, boom,
that's when it hits.
Yeah. So I'm still expecting a recession, and a big one, and I think it's probably going to be the next 12 to 18 months from now.
That's what I've kind of heard as well.
Yeah.
And you think crypto will be our way out?
Depends how governments react to it, right? So crypto unfortunately exposes a lot of weaknesses in government. Now, I think we have to separate crypto from Bitcoin. I'll be honest. Like it's two different things, right?
Solana's our way out?
Well, no. Crypto and Bitcoin are two different things. So crypto is like a part of all these things, everything from
programmable
Ethereum,
money,
Solana down
contracts
to WIF and Bonk and whatever else. There's a whole like range of shit there, right? In between, and most of the stuff is going to go to zero in a crisis. Like nobody wants certain meme coins in a crisis. Like you want hard money like Bitcoin, and then maybe some of the top 5, 10, maybe 50 coins because of some utility to it. Yeah, and use case. But that also depends on the state of the global economy, because a lot of these use cases rely on businesses, and if businesses are going to be collapsing because government, like if we have another great financial crisis, Bitcoin's where you want to be more than anything else. But the thing about Bitcoin is where it rises, the alts rise as well. So how do you play this? It's very weird. I don't know. I'm still not bearish. So I think we're in a bull run right now in Bitcoin. I was saying to Paul early on, I think we maybe top out again at like the 65, 70 range in this cycle, and now we have like this weird triple top formation on the charts. Because like
the darn 70K again.
Yeah, if we get past there, maybe we go to 120, then it's 2x the previous all-time high. Those are like the two outcomes. I don't see a $250,000 Bitcoin. Like not in this cycle. I just don't see. And people are calling for it and $1 million. I'm like, I just don't see how that plays out.
Okay. Impact that crypto may have in the next recession. Your thoughts, Priscilla or Neil?
I mean, it's so hard to say. Honestly, I think a lot of it's more regulatory based.
Fair, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time with, there's a gentleman, Chris Campbell, who used to work for the Treasury covering financial services, right? And I think a lot of it, what we end up finding is that there's actually incentives that each of the senators, each of the mayors, and you start to spend time statewide and you realize who's incentivized and what are their, like, what incentivizes them? Like, what are they bidding for? Maybe they want to get reelected, and you start to play to their interests. What are governments spending in each of those states? And you start to see some of those agendas. So I think, like, when we think about where Bitcoin, I don't know if it's crypto, it's Bitcoin, it's, who has an interest in cryptocurrency, and a lot of it, unfortunately, does lay with the government, right? And those incentives, and I think there's just that layer that we have to pay attention to, understanding what their agendas will be going forward, who's going to be elected. I mean, we say this for Argentina, right? You think about what are the other countries, who's going to be elected there, maybe even in some of the Asian countries as well, where I would
Who would you say would be the most positive set of elected officials in the next round for crypto in general? If they were to take office, would generally be pro-crypto?
The U.S. or
the U.S.,
in Asia?
sorry.
I was going to say
US.
in Asia. Okay, maybe.
Most of us here probably can't vote in Asia, like maybe a few exceptions. But
I mean,
in
it's
the
not
US.
Biden, and it's not Elizabeth Warren.
It's definitely not her. I don't know.
Not that you would vote for them, but just from the viewpoint of a crypto landscape. I don't know, Vinny, if you have a take on that.
I mean, I think probably someone sensible, like, I mean, Dean Phillips seems pretty sensible and reasonable at this point, as one of the only options we have on the Democratic side. Republican, who knows? I'm kind of like...
I don't draw much party lines myself.
I'm registered.
I'm not a one-issue voter, but crypto's a big issue.
Yeah, I'm a registered independent. I'm like, I just don't know which way to turn right now.
No,
Homeless is what they call
Yeah,
it.
I'm
Politically
homeless.
homeless.
Exactly.
Right, you think about it even too, right? So for, like, let's say Fairfax County, Virginia, right? They had a lot of exposure to crypto from an institutional investor standpoint too. So you start to think about, okay, who are the big institutional investors who are coming into the space that are interested? I don't know. So maybe it's statewide, maybe Virginia could be a big contender.
Might be able to tap someone who has an expertise here in the California legislation to give us some insight on that. But
Do we have someone here?
talk to Chris, and if anyone's curious, he knows a lot about the legislation here, local here in California. Maybe he can poke at who we should be voting for. Yep. Oh.
Not to put me on the spot, I guess, right? Well, I do know we're going to have potentially a new governor running for the state of California. When they do, it'll be the person who actually was the pro tem and our district here in San Diego. So just to let you guys know, I'm not sure they're going to be too crypto friendly.
Tony.
So it does seem, just if you had to put a line in the sand, it does seem that, like, the Republicans have been more crypto friendly than the Democrats have, at least recently. And I don't know if it's going to continue that way, but at least in California, they've drawn a pretty hard line in the sand. And if you think it's going to get better, regulation and legislation doesn't tend to get less over time. So.
Damn it.
More
We
pages.
need to get Sam Bankman-Fried out of prison.
Yeah.
To bribe.
Running his
to
next
bribe all
company.
the, yeah, exactly.
Someone's got to bribe
Someone's
the
bribing.
Democrats.
I know. Exactly. That's the one piece I miss with Sam.
Yeah.
I still can't believe what a travesty. Like, they literally dropped all the campaign finance charges against... Like,
Yeah, that's snap of a finger.
Everyone.
still corruption. This is ridiculous.
I think COVID taught me, kind of my first bubble, like, right in front of our face. I mean, remember the GameStop days and all that, like that top. So it's hard to extrapolate what that looks like on the bottom.
We all knew it was a bubble. We just didn't know how big it would get.
Right.
That was the way. I literally said that to someone you know. I said that in November of 2021, we're in a bubble, but this can get bigger. And then it burst.
Right.
I was wrong.
So like
Got
we
a little
can,
bigger. Got a
everyone
little
here
bigger.
like know what 2019 to now is, right? Like we can see that, and we're taught to like do the opposite of what our mind's telling us and buy dips, not get scared and all that. But I don't know when the moment happens, does humanity or the, do us do the right thing, in that regard? Do we chase or do we hold or do we buy? I still don't trust, the investing population, what they're going to do at the right time.
I agree.
So I don't know if at the
Don't
drop
listen to
bottom,
anything we say or they say, because I'm
No,
not an investor.
the one thing I think
Right.
you should take away from all this is like nobody knows the future.
Yeah.
Like like I said, we're a bunch of talking heads up on a stage. Like we don't know how things are gonna play out. We'd be lying if we told you we did. Just manage your cash, manage your assets, diversify adequately, understand the risks of things you invest in, and make sure managing cash flow is the single most important thing you can learn to do with your life in the investing world, right? And whether it's your salary, whether it's in putting cash into investments, if you run out of cash, you're dead. It's like liquidated. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So for a lot of people, I want to go back to one of the questions I asked earlier. We'll kind of try to wrap up with this one. Many of you are involved with VC funds. For the non-accredited investor, they may not have access to that. What's the next closest thing that they could do as a similar type of asset to own?
I mean, if you're a non-accredited investor, I think owning Bitcoin is probably the best play right now. So like, you can buy it in Coinbase. You have to be accredited. Just stack sats for as long as you can until you have enough capital. When you have enough, then diversify into other stuff. It's low risk. Like I'd rather own Bitcoin than let's assume I'm not an accredited investor, and I need to go put some money into work. Am I going to take a risk on some startup investing is not for people who can take one bet. It's for people who can take 50 or 100 bets. And I've done 200 plus seed checks in my life. So I can tell you, and even with those, yes, some of them have been like spectacular winners. I got a lot of misses, a lot of losses. And if I didn't have winners in there that paid off big, I would have lost a ton of money. But the winners paid for my losers. But if I only did 5 bets, I would have lost all of it. If I did 10, I probably would have lost most of it. If I did 20, I may have broken even on 1 or 2 of them. And like you have to get up to like 50, 100 plus to get. It's called an efficient frontier. You have to build an efficient frontier in terms of high alpha bets there, or high risk bets. So if you're going to put money into like something like an asset class, pick an asset class, whether it's crypto, stocks, whatever. Just start building your base from there. Don't pick something which is high risk where you have to place a lot of bets, because bet sizing is one of the key things about investing which people get wrong. It's like playing poker. You got to size your bets, otherwise you just burn down your stack.
Cool.
I think like investing in yourself is like maybe the best bet, right? Yeah. Like go best and invest in yourself to go learn something. Yeah. And that could be learning to invest. So, there's crowdfunding sites where you can go do $100 bets. And if you think you'll learn enough, then fine, go do 100 crowdfunding bets. But I think learning, so a certain group of people will do that, which is fine. You have to pay attention enough to go say, check a year later, did they do what I thought they're going to do, or did they do the exact opposite, which is really what angel investing is like learning to trust your gut, right? And indexing across that. But I think betting on yourself also means like learning a new skill set and building something and, putting your chips behind yourself first. Mm-hmm. And I think every day I keep kind of mentioning this, like the tools keep coming down that to go build something, to go validate that your conviction is real from a customer. And, you can do that for free right now. And so I would go be betting more on myself. This year I'm betting more on learning new AI tools for creator, just to like try new content generation and output around that. And that's what I'm going to spend time on this year.
Awesome. Can't agree more. And for those looking to learn, we do host a lot of events here at Edge. And as Madison mentioned, the DevX meetup coming up on Thursday is a great opportunity to learn. It's more hands-on of an event. I don't know, do we have time for audience questions? Cool, let's take a few audience questions.
And that's great advice Neil just gave. 100%. Investing in yourself has been the best investment I've made from a young age, all the way through.
And most VCs or investors like have side gigs too, right? Like we all like build something, whether it's a lot of VCs are building a blog or a following of some sort. They're still like learning to write better, right? Like, and maybe finding a monetization strategy around that too. So even like VCs, there's multiple business models, if you will, even as an investor, to like do things on the side as well.
Yes.
So just before we take questions, I just want to let everybody know we're gonna, after the presentation, the questions are done, we're gonna do a lightning round. So if anybody is working on anything, they want to talk about anything or announce anything to the community, come up and stand up here on the left-hand side of the stage, and you have a minute to go ahead and talk to the audience and let everybody know what you're working on.
Sweet.
And then Madison has some t-shirt giveaways that we're gonna do as well. So make sure you stick around after the talk. Don't run away. And here's your question.
Right, question. Does crypto exist, survive, or thrive in emerging economies, and in particular, if you know anything about Cuba?
I don't know about Cuba.
I was in Cuba in 2018. It didn't seem prevalent per se, at least compared to some of the Central American countries. I think Cuba's got, the government's still got such a stranglehold, and the citizens still love their government so much. So I think they're still all in on Cuba.
Emerging markets, though?
I think emerging, like Argentina and others, betting on, they're breaking away from BRICS, right? Or they're saying they're not going BRICS, and they're going other ways, American dollar and crypto. And you saw that in Central America. I think it matters. And I think technology-wise, it's actually better because it was, like, in emerging markets, it was mobile first for cash, right? And payments and that thing. And I think crypto benefits in a population that's used to a digital first currency in that regard. So I think it's good there.
Other
I talked to
questions?
someone
That's awesome.
regarding the Cuba thing. I talked to someone who recently came back and had done some visits there. Well, Edge actually was, quote unquote, the first Bitcoin to ever arrive in Cuba. Someone brought the app over there and somehow got internet connection when Cuba first opened up. At the time, we were called Airbits. But from what I had heard, they're about 20 years behind on almost everything. And so it's going to take some time to catch up. And so a lot of the infrastructure is just so poor, whether it be internet or even just, God forbid, like landlines. So I wouldn't expect that they would be key to driving adoption for quite some time, but that could hopefully change in 5-10 years. Sorry, another question.
Hi. Do any of your funds actually hold any crypto? And what type of agreements did you enter into, like vesting contracts, SAFs? And what have been the challenges of integrating those instruments with your investment book of records?
No, we don't own any crypto in the fund itself.
So we have an entity called Science Blockchain, which was 2017 vehicle that was a Reg D offering. So it's a closed-ended vehicle. We do hold coins in there, which it's all publicly listed, so you can go onto Science Blockchain, you can see what we have. It's a mix of, this was also around the time when we had ICOs. We were also building because we have a studio, so we do have private investments. So in addition to altcoins, obviously the main top coins, we do have private investments. Some of our private investments also had token offerings as well. And so those token offerings, we did private sales. We had, retail investors. We also had institutions participate in those. And again, those are all publicly listed on our website.
Other than the funds, I'm an LPN, and yeah, they all have, I guess. I can't really speak to what they're doing specifically. But I've invested in tons of crypto funds, lots. Yeah.
You didn't fund our fund with Civic coin? No, I don't think you did.
No.
There's another question
In
back
the
there.
back, in the back over there.
Thank you. In terms of Bitcoin mining, the only way to hack Bitcoin mining is if you have 51% of the miners validated a fraudulent transaction, and BlackRock has a major stake in 4 of the top 5 companies for mining, crypto mining. What is the crypto community doing to keep an eye on this and maybe prevent Bitcoin being hacked?
Well, that's not hacked. It's a double spend. Mining double spend. It's not actually a hack. But I don't think BlackRock has enough influence on any 5 companies that would comprise. Mining is done through mining pools, not through companies. And so I don't know what the top pools are right now, but like
There are only about half a dozen top pools.
Yeah.
The nice thing is that the switching cost is low.
Yeah.
So as a miner, if you find that, and this happened in the past, where one of the mining pools actually achieved 51%.
Yeah.
And two things happened. The pool itself realized that this is bad for Bitcoin, and they disincentivized people from adding more hashing power to that pool.
And people left, and they just.
And then people just left.
Yeah, they left. Yeah.
Yeah, people actually left. They said, no, I don't want to be contributing to this pool, even if it gives me a higher return, because the net effect of that is depreciating the asset that I'm mining. So there's a natural incentive to actually decentralize the network. Now, granted, it's not perfect. I think pure proof of work has issues. That's probably a topic for another day. We should do a whole panel on that. You know, when you ask the question, what's the Bitcoin community doing?
But by the way, so technically it's not 51%. You could actually execute the same attack with with 33%. You know, so you don't have to have 51. 51 is just kind of a easy number for people to get their heads around. Oh, okay, it's controlled majority, but it's more about the number of blocks get mined sequentially, and the chance of getting basically getting an entry to the Coinbase multiple times. And so that you can do it at 33, you can do it at 25. The chances go down, but it's still possible.
Yeah. So
and even at 51, it's not guaranteed to do it either at 51%.
You need also 51 sustained.
Sustained over a period of time.
Over a longer period of time. So I don't have a clear-cut answer to that, unfortunately, but happy to chat. It's a long-winded discussion.
Yeah, hi, this is Scott. Thanks for the discussion, it's great, and we can go on all night. It's really exciting. This question is for Vinny. So I'm going to toot your horn because way back when you were an investor in Lyft, Paul and I were basically buying, when you were in Gyft, we were buying Lyft tickets, and we were basically then tipping or buying our Lyft fares with Bitcoin and preaching to the person who's driving the Lyft about Bitcoin. So thank you for that introduction. And also Civic was fun when it first started. It was great. IDO, whatever they call it back then.
We're building cool stuff. We just announced our AVEX integration today, so we're still building.
Still building, which is great.
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm really trying to boil it down to, so that's tooting your horn. I think you've done a great job in the space. So hopefully you continue in it, but you had probably I'd probably say like 6 or 7 years ago, I was in LA, and you gave a presentation, and you said to the audience, who thinks Bitcoin's going to be whatever? I think it was 1,000 maybe. And everybody said, yeah, and he goes, okay, it won't be because everybody expects that. So can you ask that question again?
Okay, fine. So who thinks Bitcoin's going to $100,000 this year?
Next year.
So that means it will go to 100,000 this year. Because no one thinks it will, so it probably will go to 100,000 this year.
No, well, a few people raised their hand. That's not nobody.
Why are you putting a cap on it?
Go past it.
You didn't say if it'll go above or below. You just said who thinks it'll go to. So.
I mean, for the record, I actually have some Bitcoin. I have some exotic options that it hits 100,000 this year. So we'll see.
Fair enough. Cool. All right. We're wrapped up. I think I don't see any other hands up. So yeah, we can wrap it up. And the speakers hopefully will still be here for a few minutes afterwards.
Sure.
Feel free to grab them, have a chat, enjoy whatever's left of the pizza and the beer. I think we still have some announcements. So I'll hand it off over to Chris and also to the lightning round.
Yeah, so if I said, if you have anything you're working on, please feel free to come on up and announce what you're doing. Just head up to the side of the stage. Yeah, anything. Toot your own horn.
Hey, thank you. So since this is a meetup, oh, thank you. I'm Kelly. I'm the founder of GiveList and GiveList for Good. I'm glad that Priscilla, thank you so much for mentioning the homelessness. We do a kind of a tech-enabled nonprofit. And recently I dropped off a bunch of socks up in LA, and the thing that someone told me was that never before had they seen people so anxious about how they were gonna make it. They come to pick up the food, and in 23 and kind of this year, people have been very anxious on that side. And so addressing homelessness and all of the other issues, but doing it from a very smart point of view. That's what we're trying to do with GiveList for Good. So if anybody's interested in helping with a nonprofit, we do those kind of projects all the time across the board, every kind of cause. And the other thing is that there's, I don't know, I think it's not necessarily public, but Eric Ries is going to be doing another book, or looking to do kind of something on business for good, and that's kind of close to my heart. And so I believe they were going to start doing meetups in different cities. So if anybody is interested in, and not just business for good, but profit and purpose, not compromising either, that, and then they have the All-In podcast groups are starting to meet on Founder Fridays. So if anybody's interested in doing that meetup, I'm super excited about maybe hosting. So let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Next.
Hi, everyone. Pleasure to meet you all. With a show of hands, how many people over here believe Bitcoin's going to be here for the long run? Love it, love it. Speaking to the right crowd. One of the fundamental infrastructures of Bitcoin is Bitcoin mining. What's crazy is that the $30 billion Bitcoin mining industry runs on Telegram. I'm sure you guys all use Telegram, or may use Telegram, or don't want to use Telegram, but have to. And the wild thing is that there are millions of dollars of transactions that happen over Telegram to build the mining market. My name's Deepak. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I went to UC San Diego, so I'm a Triton, class 2015. I took my first startup from venture funding to an exit to a public company in about 3 years. And I believe the mining market needs to be revamped. And so I'm a co-founder of HashBranch. We are building the marketplace for the Bitcoin mining industry. Our first 3 months after launching, we did over $1 million in sales. We have 20 million in pipeline and are growing extremely rapidly. We're raising our seed round right now, so looking to meet any investors over here that'd be looking to lead or invest as an angel and help us join. So it's a pleasure to meet you all and looking forward to chatting with you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Greg, and I'm the founder of Longview Labs. I'm focused specifically on Arweave, which enables permanent storage, decentralized storage, that is. And I just wanted to get up on stage because I'm actually hiring, potentially across the board, starting with operations to begin with. And the work that I'm focused on is really community development. Just ran the first hacker house in India. In Bangalore, which was an amazing experience, and flew 30 builders into Bangalore, had a hacker house. Like, we actually funded the whole experience with the like lodging, transportation, and so on, and really focused on building quality relationships. And so I'm from San Diego. I'm now spending more time in San Diego, and I actually would love to work with individuals face to face. And so you can find out more at longviewlabs.co and send a message. Love to talk. Love Bitcoin, love crypto, and those that really care about building solid relationships for the long term. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nathalie Kapati. I am the CEO and co-founder of Jasmine Energy. I'm actually joined by my co-founder, Matt. I'm from DC. He's in LA. We are here on our company retreat, and we decided to come here because we thought that this was a great event to meet everyone in this space. So what we do is we buy, sell, and trade renewable energy certificates. If you don't know what that is, come and talk to us, because it's better than carbon offsets. It's pretty much a certificate based on clean energy. So what we want to do is to be able to create this marketplace and this exchange that currently is over the counter, all brokers, and we want to turn this into an open marketplace where everyone can buy, sell, trade, exchange with transparency. So if you want to talk to us, we'll be at Ballast Point at 8 p.m. for trivia. So we got to go, but we'd love to see you there.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ross Friedman. I'm a veteran of the fintech blockchain payment space and recently helped co-found a fractional stock ownership plan. So loyalty programs from major big box retailers. Our mission is kind of based around the fact that a lot of blue collar workers and contractors have cashback programs from places like Home Depot and Lowe's, but typically don't use that for any long-term investments. So we figure we're going to approach a lot of retailers, get them to put up greater than the typical 5% they'd usually get in cashback, and have that vest over time into fractional stock ownership. We are currently raising a pre-seed round, looking for $4 million. So any angels or anyone interested, please come see me afterwards.
Miners extractable value, front running, adverse selection. Now that I have your attention. Hi, my name is Kevin. I work at Krypton Labs. We are building the first decentralized exchange that will completely eradicate and protect the users from these types of hidden fees and costs that you find in your trading. If you're interested about learning more, we are launching a test soon, right around Denver time. You can register online right now for early access to our beta, kryptonbeta.com. If you need help spelling that, please feel free to come find me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Liz. Me and my team will organize a series of monthly events called the CTO Talk Series. We basically bring together tech leaders, the tech community in general, to learn about the latest tech trends, connect. You don't know if maybe you're going to meet your next colleague or whatever. So it's a very cool event. Our next one is this Thursday in Sorrento Valley, and we are very grateful because Edge is the sponsor of February's event. So it's going to be here. So welcome February 28th. You can follow us on Eventbrite on LinkedIn, or you can come up and talk to me if you want to learn a little bit more. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Robert. On the theme of investing in yourself, there is, that may not be widely known, a blockchain technology management certificate program at UCLA. And I teach the fundamentals of blockchain technology, and we go over IoT, essentially any integration of blockchain. We've sent out people to be hired by Gemini, Coinbase, essentially any California-based blockchain company. So if you're interested in getting positioned to be hired by a lot of these legacy blockchain companies, I'd recommend it, and I'd love to work with you as part of the curriculum. We're keeping it real dialed in on Bitcoin and blockchain, and for more information, go to losangeles.org. Thanks.
What's up, guys? My name is Dan. Recently moved to San Diego. Don't have anything in terms of events or anything for you guys to sign up for, but I did have a goal for this night to find either a technical co-founder or some funding. So if you are either one of those, I would love to chat with you at some point regarding a stealth startup, and I hope to meet more of you guys throughout the year.
Cool, Dan. Thanks. Wow, what a great turnout tonight. Honestly, this is the best turnout we've had in quite a while, so give yourselves a round of applause. Also, I want to say thanks. Who here is from San Diego? Raise your hands. All right, cool. Anybody from here, from out of state? Hands up. Not tonight. No, yeah. You have to be from out of state tonight. Okay, and then anybody from out of the country visiting? All right, awesome. We got several people. Very good. Okay. Thank you very much all for coming, and happy birthday to all the January birthdays out there.
Speaking of birthdays, the closest birthday to today is one of our lucky shirt winners. Anyone want to start the bidding? I think closest to today. 27. What is today? 23rd. Okay. All right. Can anyone beat the 27th? All right. Happy birthday. I do want to shout out Andrew over here. He is one of our volunteers. Yes, working the cameras, the lighting, the microphones. He does a lot. So if you're interested in his services, he does videography and AV. He also is hilarious. So if you just want a new friend, go chat with Andrew. Sold. Okay. I'm going to go with the first person to say the correct answer. What day was the Bitcoin ETF approved? All right. What was Edge called before it was Edge? I think that was June. You guys have to fight over this one. Wow. Okay. What Friday of every month is the Founders Hike? I heard one right over here. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, last one. What company is Priscilla a general partner at? Oh, she already had one. All right. All right. There's only one size in these shirts that BitRefill sent us, so if it's not your size, give it to somebody else or somebody you know. But do you have anything to close with? All right. Well, I think that's all. Please eat the rest of the pizza, drink the rest of the drinks. Thank you to our speakers and our sponsors.